What's going on, guys? Today we got these trash 1985 Jordan 1 Royals, but before we get into all that, we got a special guest in the house. This is somebody that I've been wanting to work for a long time. We got Alex, aka Flippin Kickz.
What's up, guys? Very grateful to be here. Thank you, Vic, for inviting me. Looking forward to working on these with you after seeing all your videos in the past, kind of getting me into restoring. So let's get into these.
I appreciate that, bro, but I've seen your videos too, and honestly, I got nothing on you when it comes to 85s.
I appreciate that.
This is gonna be a challenge for both of us. We've never taken a part of 85s, fully deconstructed and put it back together. We're gonna keep the shoe as original as possible, but make it wearable. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, man, so for this deconstruction process, what's first?
So first thing, we have to get this old brittle sole off of this upper. So we need to remove the cord that's right here so it's not hooked in, and then take the sole from the upper.
Just so you guys know, these soles are completely trash. There's no traction. They're really firm, they're crunchy. So you can see, as soon as I flex it, it's gonna crack. Yeah, these are pretty bad, dude. All right, let's get it going.
God, these are so brittle.
So I gotta be really strong.
Yeah, this is tough. This is probably the most physical part of any restoration is getting 85 soles off. What I like to do though, because you have a point, instead of going at it, like prying it, you're almost using the point to cut it. So like if I'm right here, see how that's together? If I put the point in there, see how it slices it, but at the same time it's separating the glue from where the leather was. There it is.
That was a lot tougher than I thought and pretty messy. As you can see, we got all these different parts from the sole, all this dust. It's pretty messy, you guys. What's next?
So next, let's get the dirty part out of the way. Let's go ahead, take the Dremel to the leather and get it prepped.
Cool, safety first.
Alrighty.
This is pretty messy. All right, I didn't know there was gonna be a blizzard today. We should have taken his advice and done this outside. Or if you have a sanding box, do that in there, but always wear protection, you guys. Now to the next step, deconstruction. This is gonna be my favorite part. We're gonna be using an X-Acto knife. Basically what we gotta do is cut every single stitch very carefully without cutting the leather.
All right, guys, we did all the dirty work. We separated the shoe. Now, before we do the next step, we have to remove all these little stitches.
All of them. Got all the loose threads off, time-consuming stuff, but now we're on to the cleaning. We thought about it, we were gonna use solution in water, but we'll save that for later. We don't wanna potentially shrink these parts and make it harder to put the shoe back together. So right now we're gonna be doing a dry cleaning process using our soft bristle brush and a compressor. What we wanna do is get all the dust off these parts. Get the rest of the dust off with the compressor. Cleaning is all done. Now we're on to adding some new backings onto the vamp and the side panels. Show them the original part.
So this is the original backing from the vamp. As you can see, their pinky toe and their big toe absolutely blew through it. Luckily, we have some very clean and original color backing that we're gonna replace it with.
Yeah, this is not something I would wanna put my foot inside of.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah, so originally I was gonna iron these pieces flat before putting the backing, but again, I don't want to run into the issue of potentially shrinking these parts and changing the overall shape, so we're going to finesse it. We're going to go outside to the other studio, spray some adhesive onto the backing. Me and Alex are going to finesse it and try to get these parts onto the new backing. Got our new backings onto the vamp and the side panels, already looks so much better. I also went ahead and slid in the tongue between the new backing and the vamp, so that's already on there. This is kind of starting to look like a shoe. Now, we're gonna focus back on the toe piece. Right on this V, we gotta sew some zigzag stitching. We got some white thread and a needle. We're just gonna connect it.
All right, so we stitched the toes together, and now the next step is we have to glue all the pieces together prior to stitching it.
That's right, we're gonna focus right now on this piece, the vamp, and for the side panels, we're just gonna glue the swooshes down before we start sewing.
All right, so now that the glue is laid down on the parts, it's time to heat it up and stick it together. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. Got my heat gun. Well, let's take care of this.
Alex did a great job of lining both of these parts up. Now we're gonna add some black stitching using the machine.
Anybody got pliers?
Perfect. You sew it.
All right, so the panels are back from Vick, but now it's time to put the heel panel on. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue that down. All right, guys, the glue is all down. We're gonna let it dry, and then we're gonna heat it up and bond it.
So far, so good. It's starting to look like a shoe. We got a lot of sewing done. Our next focus is the collars. Originally, we wanted to keep the shoe as original as possible, right?
Yeah, we're trying to.
But these parts are just not gonna make it. We gotta go in and apply new sock liners to this part, but the edges are so fragile. Once I do all that, I'm afraid that it's gonna fall apart, and I don't wanna waste a bunch of time. So instead, we're just gonna replace this. I had to go to the fabric store. I spent a good hour just looking through a bunch of different rolls of fabric. Eventually, we came across this material that I think is pretty close to the original, would you say?
Yeah, I'd say it's the closest we're gonna get.
So we're gonna have to go in and do some modifications, such as add some black paint, do a little bit of sanding. But before we do that, we gotta make a new pattern.
And I'm just tracing out the line where the leather used to be. All right, so we got our new collars traced. Now it's time to cut.
Onto some more stitching before we connect these top pieces onto the side panels and heel.
All right, so Vick did the stitching once again. Now it's my turn to glue these pieces together.
Let's take care of some more stitching. We gotta take care of these 2 rows to connect the top half and the bottom half. After that, we'll move on to the sock liners. A lot of the sewing's done. My hand hurts, but now we're on to the sock liners. Over here, we got this black material. This is the same stuff that me and Max used for the 1985 Jordan 1 bread build, so it's pretty spot on. Over there, we got the foam. Basically, the next step you gotta do is attach both pieces, get it nice and flat before we attach it onto the upper. This looks great. Now we gotta go in and remove the excess material with some scissors.
That's pretty nice.
Pretty dope.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Alex is geeking.
Yeah, I'm geeking hard. All right, guys, so Vic did the stitching along this edge and it looks great, but now we have to add another layer of padding inside here for some extra comfort. So we're gonna cut out the padding using these patterns.
Got the padding cut out, but before we do that, there's one more thing we gotta take care of.
We have to install this heel counter. The heel counter is the structural support for the heel. So to do that, we gotta glue it down and then we'll put the padding over that.
Real quick, we gotta do some prep work. We got some acetone and cotton balls. Let's give it a good wipe down.
All right, that should be good. All right, so off camera, we went ahead and applied the glue, let it dry, and now it's time to heat it up and bond it.
Bro, good job with the heel counter. So far, the insides look great. What's next?
So next we have to put the padding in and then we'll pull the sock liner down.
So where's this gonna go? Right around the edge?
Yeah, we got it right up to the stitch line so that way it'll fold over real nice.
We can just cover that up. We don't need to get the adhesive all the way over there, do we?
So?
No, just because.
Oh, when you stitch it?
When I stitch, it's gonna lock it in.
Well, then we'll cover it up as much as possible.
Got the parts all taped up. Now let's lay down some adhesive. Looks good, man. One step closer.
Damn! Looks good, man. I'm gonna take care of the excess. As you can see, I cut off the excess padding and I added the leather strap that runs along where the laces go through. I still have to do it to the next shoe, so let's take care of that right now.
Onto the front of the shoes, specifically the tongues. The next step is to replace these chewed up Nike tongue tags. These are the original ones that came on these 85s. As you can see on the bottom, it's completely gone. I wish I could salvage these, but they're too far gone. Luckily, Foxtrot Uniform hooked us up with some perfect brand new Nike Air tongue tags. We just gotta go in, apply them onto the shoe, and then use a sewing machine to fully sew in place. Finally, we're all done stitching up the uppers. Now we're onto the donors. Today we're gonna be using some Marina Blues. The reason why we're gonna be using this specific shoe is because it has the perfect blue tone for the royal blue uppers. We already went ahead and removed the uppers using some acetone and removed the stitching. One thing about these though, they're too white for the 85 uppers. So what's next, Alex?
So we're gonna stain these to match the age of the upper using coffee. So we're gonna submerge them for about 10 minutes, take them out, and they'll look just right.
And same thing with the thread.
It sometimes does change the bottom a little. Well, it usually does.
It's hot.
So Vic has done most of the workload on this project with the stitching of the uppers, but now it's time to put the uppers onto the soles, and I'm gonna take care of this part. Before we apply glue on here, we actually have to remove the old glue, so that is the next step. So I went ahead and removed the glue from the soles with the Dremel. I want to warn about using the Dremel though. If you have a heavy hand, you're going to cause damage to the texture that is on the inside here. That texture actually helps with the strength of the bond. So just use a light hand, go right over the glue, allow it to pull up the glue, and don't dig into the rubber when you're doing this, and you'll be fine. Now that it's prepped and ready, I'm going to lay down the glue. All right, so the glue is dry and it's now time to heat it up to bond it. You're probably wondering why this part is empty. The Texon board goes there, and I actually put it down after I've already bonded the sides. That way I can have an easier job when lining it up. Now it's time to heat it up. All right, the soles are bonded onto the uppers, but there's one more step to lock it on.
The next step, using our sewing gauze, we're gonna be applying our stitch all around the sole. Real quick, you guys, Alex did a great job with this part. I was watching him from the sideline, dude. Dude, that was insane. It was good technique all around, alignment's on point, good stuff. Let's stitch it together. All right, we got the stitching in place. That honestly took forever, but it looks good, man.
It does.
What's the next step?
So the next step is to replace this Texon board. It's obviously got a hole through it, so we can't use this one, but we have the same exact material they use. We're gonna outline it, cut it, and then place it in there.
Sounds easy enough.
So we just installed the Texon boards inside, and then we went ahead and punched out the holes where the laces go through. What's next, Vic?
All right, so now we're on to the cleaning. We're gonna be using Rejuvenator products, of course. Right now the shoe isn't really dirty. There just might be some surface grime that we didn't clean off. This is where the solution and our soft bristle brush comes in play. What it's also gonna do is help recondition the leather and soften it up, because the solution does come with natural oils. All done with the cleaning, easy stuff. The leather already feels a lot softer. Now while the shoe's still wet, we're gonna go ahead and reshape the toe boxes. Right now they're pretty creased up, so we're gonna go ahead and use the iron method to get it back to its original shape. First we're gonna stuff it, place a wet cloth over it, and then with the little iron, we're gonna get rid of the creasing. We minimized the creasing on the toe boxes, but what it did a better job of is reshaping the overall toe box, even without any shoe trees or stuffing inside the toe boxes. All right, bro, what's next?
So next, we're gonna do a little paint on here. We wanna leave a lot of the patina for the aging look, but we do wanna minimize how kind of splotchy it does look. So we're just gonna hit up some spots and go from there.
Cool.
Feeling I'm gonna see these on Vick's feet.
You might, once or twice.
Look how clean that.
That's a full-on restoration right there, dude, yeah.
It's just super clean.
And like the leather's like genuine leather. They don't make them like that no more.
Yeah, I mean, but the re-blue is like...
It's spot on. It's like,
It was difficult on this pair.
It looks better than getting them from the factory.
So the paint job is complete. I went ahead and did both shoes so that it is consistent.
dude, you did a great job. It looks clean, it looks natural, it doesn't look overdone. Good job. On to the final touch. This is the original 85 royal blue lace. As you can see, it has faded big time. It has like inconsistent blue and purple tones. I like it. Foxtrot Uniform did a good job of recreating these laces, and these are gonna match perfectly the age on the uppers. Let's lace them up. All right, YouTube, that is gonna bring us to an end on this full restoration of these 1985 royal blue ones. That's the definition of a restoration, dude.
That was a long, long process.
Easily one of the most time-consuming projects we've ever been a part of. We were at it for days. Literally the whole shoe got taken apart, put back together. Every single stitch you see on the shoe was manually hand cranked. We wanted to go back over the original holes. We built the shoe the exact same way the people did back in 1985, and I think we did a good job. What do you think?
I think it's freaking sweet, man.
Dude, that was a lot of work. We replaced all the insides, put new sock liners. We were able to find new material to replace the collars, put new Nike tongue tags. But overall, we kept it OG, you know. none of the leather parts is replaced, right?
Right, it's actually wearable now. So not only did we replace the sole completely, but all that dusty, grimy padding in there.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, I didn't want to put my foot in something like that.
And that's a good thing about the shoe that we were working with. It was beat up, you know, in the very beginning, but it was a good base shoe. Like the leather was still there. One thing we left on the uppers is the patina. We touched up the black here and there, but overall, we wanted to leave it aged. This is still an old shoe. There's a lot of creasing all around. We didn't want to slap a brand new paint job all around the sneaker because that would just kind of make it look weird. This looks original.
It does, it's a very nice touch to it.
The best part about this whole project is these are personals. I bought these 2 years ago, waiting for the day that Alex would come on set and help me with this restoration. My guy, I appreciate you. Cheers. Hope you guys enjoyed this video on the most in-depth 1985 Jordan 1 restoration we could possibly do. I'm Vick Almighty.
I'm Flippin Kickz.
Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll catch you guys next Monday. See you guys.